Stupid people often overestimate their abilities. On the other hand, intelligent people often doubt themselves. This pattern appears so often that psychologists gave it a name: the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's that paradox where those who know the least think they know the most, while those who see the breadth of the problem feel the weight of their own ignorance. If you sometimes question yourself, if you doubt your intelligence, it's not necessarily a weakness, it's probably awareness. Intelligence is not always loud. She rarely announces her entrance into the room by blowing horns. More often than not, it leaves subtle clues in the way you process the world. Here are signs that you may be more intelligent than you think. Listening and observation. Highly intelligent people tend to listen more than they speak. They are not just waiting their turn for a retort, they actively absorb information. While others waste energy trying to dominate the conversation, an intelligent person observes. She processes the dynamics in the room, tone of voice, and unspoken thoughts. In group settings, they are often quiet, not because they have nothing to say, but because they choose their moment carefully. They understand that silence is the space in which to learn, and speech is the space in which to consume what you already know. Silence is not emptiness, it is attention in action. Reading people and empathy. Because they observe so much, these individuals develop a keen sense of understanding others. It's not just logic, it's also emotional intelligence. They notice small inconsistencies between what someone says and what their face shows. You don't have to be a detective to do this, but being constantly aware of your surroundings and the micro-expressions of the people around you is a sign of an extremely active mind. You see layers where others only see the surface. Critical thinking and non-conformism. Intelligent people rarely follow the crowd just because everyone else is doing it. They do not feel comfortable in the herd. They rely on their own reasoning and question the assumptions that society takes for granted. This often leads to unusual perspectives on society, religion, politics, or everyday habits. It is not rebellion for rebellion's sake, but the pursuit of accuracy. An intelligent mind would rather be alone and right than wrong in a large company. Your circle, the power of selectivity. Here we come to the key point, your circle. Intelligent people often maintain small circles of close relationships. It did not come from arrogance, but from deep selectivity. They understand that energy is not unlimited. Think of it as a circle where you are invincible. Within that circle are your interests, your people, and your knowledge. Nothing outside that circle should overly interest you or touch your peace. But whoever dares to enter your circle, where you are at home, will face your full force. Deep conversations in that circle are worth more than 1,000 superficial acquaintances. Quality is the only measure of growth. Comfort with uncertainty. Life rarely offers simple answers, and the average mind is desperate for black and white solutions. Intelligent minds, on the other hand, are comfortable in gray areas. They understand that there can be multiple solutions at the same time, and that complex problems rarely have a single clear answer. Embracing uncertainty isn't confusio, it's intellectual flexibility. It is the ability to say, I don't know enough about it to have a fixed opinion. Continuous curiosity. Curiosity is perhaps the strongest indicator of intelligence. Asking the questions why and how does not end with the end of formal education. For an intelligent person, learning is a lifelong process driven by pure interest, not grades. Whether it's cooking, quantum physics, or the history of ancient Rome, an engaged mind rarely rests. They are eternal students of the world. Adaptability and focus. Intelligence is inextricably linked to adaptability. When the situation changes, intelligent people don't waste time whining about how it was better before. They analyze the new situation, learn from mistakes, and redefine the strategy. With that comes the power of focus. The ability to focus on one problem for hours, ignoring the distractions of the modern world, is actually cognitive control in action. Focus is the fuel for intelligence. Without it, talent is just wasted energy. It is important to understand the difference between information and intelligence. Knowledge can be gathered through learning, reading, and exposure to data. But intelligence, it is reflected in how you respond to the unknown. How do you analyze situations where there are no instructions? How do you cope when the stone you push up the hill, like Sisyphus, rolls back to the beginning? Intelligence is not always visible on tests. It is not always measurable, and it is rarely simple. If you recognize yourself in these signs, perhaps intelligence is not something you need to prove to others. Maybe it's a tool you need to keep honing within your circle, quietly and consistently.
Thank you for watching.
Use your intelligence. Build your circle.